So we're going to talk about the starter kit of accessories that you need as a bass player. When you're first starting out, there's a couple things that you're going to need. The most important is your bow. And this is what's called a French bow. I like this bow because it gives me speed and agility, and it's most comfortable for me. The other type that exists is a German bow, which I don't have here, but a lot of the time you'll run into a French bow. The next sort of accessory that goes with the bow is the rosin, and that's what gives you the grip on the hair to create a sound on the string. And this is a very common brand. This is Pop's rosin, comes in a little red case. I've been using this particular rosin for years. I don't play quite as much bow stuff that I do pizzicato. We can get into that later. I play a lot of jazz, so a type of rosin like this may last you a pretty long time. As you can see, it's worn out and it'll change shape as you use it over time. But basically, it's sticky stuff that allows you to make your bass bow able to grip the strings and create a sound. Next one is a bass mute. This is what you put on your bridge if you have a quieter passage in the orchestra or a band, that sort of situation. Not super common, but something you may run into when you're playing in an orchestral setting. Basically, it just makes your bass a little quieter by choking or muting the bridge and allowing the wood to vibrate a little less to create a quieter sound. Over here, what we have is called a 1/4-inch cable, and this is what you're going to use if you're using a pickup for your bass. And a pickup plugs into an amplifier, and the way to transmit the signal is with a 1/4-inch cable. So this is going to plug one end into your pickup, the other end into an amplifier, and that'll amplify your sound so you can hear it a little louder. And the types of situations where you might need a pickup is in a jazz band, a rockabilly band, a bluegrass band, any sort of modern situation that's not an orchestra or band. And over here, we have what's called a transducer pickup. And this works by picking up the vibration at the bridge. There's several different kinds. I like this one because it sits directly under the wheel on the bridge and gives a pretty warm, natural sound and picks up the nice acoustic properties of the instrument as you're playing. And the little part of the pickup that allows you to plug it in is going to sit somewhere behind the tailpiece. It might sit over here on the strings with a clip. There's several different ways, but this one's nice because it sits behind and you don't really see it when you're playing, so it looks elegant and fancy. In terms of the pickup, you're not really going to need that unless you're playing in the jazz band or something like that, but that whole situation is good to have if you end up pursuing different things other than the orchestra. So in direct relationship to the pickup, you're going to need an amplifier. And what an amplifier does is takes the signal from the transducer, translates it into a signal that you can hear louder, like you would an electric guitar or an electric bass, or even a microphone through a speaker. And there's tons and tons of amps that exist out there. There's what's called combo amps, which I recommend for a bass player because it's basically just a box that has everything that you need in it and will give you the ability to shape your sound with equalizer so that you can get the most natural sound out of your instrument from the pickup. There's other types of amps that exist that are separate pieces, so like a head, which is just the amplifier itself, which will connect to a speaker cabinet. But like I said, the combo is pretty much a good way to go if you're an upright bass player. You don't need a whole lot of power most of the time. Something like a 110 speaker or a 112 speaker is plenty. 200, 300 watts, more than enough for a jazz band situation or a pop situation, something of that nature. Anything bigger than that, you're getting into larger stages and maybe electric bass world. So with the pickup and your 1/4-inch and your amplifier, that sets you up to have a louder sound if you're playing with a drummer or horn players or where you want some more amplification and to be heard a little better. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is a stool. As a bass player, I really like having a stool. It makes my life a lot easier. Most of the time, I'll be standing up when I'm performing, but when I'm practicing or if I'm in long rehearsals, it's really nice to have a stool. Most everybody else that plays any other instrument can sit down, except for the bass. You know, we can't really just sit in any ordinary chair because of the height of the instrument and the angle that you have to be at. So having a bar height stool allows you to sit down and, you know, rest your legs and allow you to have a little more energy focused on playing your instrument instead of just standing up for long periods of time.